I walked out of there being like, I think I would have paid for that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I actually think I would have paid for that ticket.
Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. We are live post Memorial Day. We're recording on Memorial Day, so hope everyone had a lovely 3-day weekend, sort of the summer kickoff type deal. I saw a lot of boats. There's a lot of boat action. People go out to lakes. There's a lot of lake beach action leading into Memorial Day weekend, which is really nice to see. I actually had I had a dream last night that starting the show, we were in person live somewhere, and I went to do the foreplay, and I just went super high and totally blew it. And so
that has happened before.
Yeah.
It's not a foreign concept on this show.
No. And you go from, I almost like you know how musicians, when they actually perform, they're backstage doing their little voice warm up and stuff. We don't do any of that. So to lead with foreplay, it can just kind of, you don't know.
Were you a big voice crack guy like at 14, 15, 16, or did it kind of?
I'm still kind of a big voice crack guy. A lot of times too at the classic, because when we do, announcements or we run sort of first tee or the putting contest afterwards, you kind of just yell and my voice just cracks. Yes. I'm still a voice. I'm still a adolescent, I guess that would be.
This is probably not a great thing to bring up on a show that we're doing over Zoom or Riverside, but in-person shows are, I would say, 40% better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no doubt about that.
Like when we were on that run, when we're all together in Rochester or wherever we are, they're just better. And I shouldn't be bringing it up because we're doing a recorded show on Zoom right now, but I just want the people to know that we know, because I can definitely tell the difference.
Yeah. It's on. I will say that it's funny if you look back to when we first started doing these during COVID, 2020, whatever, March. It's now we're so advanced or experienced or have done hundreds of them that you really learn who to look at when and who's most likely to speak, and your like cadence starts to drop off as they're clearly going to pick it up. And it's kind of amazing how even remotely you're able to get to that point. But yeah, nothing will beat just being in person.
It's just better.
John Rahm said that to me. He said that to me when I saw him in Scottsdale right before the PGA, where he didn't play particularly well, which is not great for us. But he was like, by the way, shows are just way better in person. We need to do shows in person. I was like, John Rahm, I very much agree with you, man.
Yeah, there's something human about it. I mean, as great as the technology has gotten, and look at us, this is clear. I'm in 4K. You're all in 4K, and their internet is 100%. Like, it's all great. Even if it's perfect over Zoom, there's something about being in person, and humans are just able to see like who's going to talk next. And like you said, that you can see it over Zoom, but you can, for whatever reason, the spidey senses are stronger when you're in person. I don't know why that is.
Zuckerberg talked about that on Rogan, where he's like, because you're actually not looking into anyone's eye. You're actually looking down.
Yeah.
Right.
You're looking down.
Or you're looking at yourself. Yeah.
No, but like you actually physically, it's impossible to look each other in the eye, because if you look at the camera, I'm no longer looking at you.
Like, think about, he talks about FaceTime. When you're FaceTiming someone, you're always either looking at yourself or you're trying to look. You're just not looking in the right places. But you're right. When you're in person, there's no other option.
Right. And even if you are looking them in the eye, you're looking at a screen. You're not looking at them in the eye. That's just like a screen version.
There's a disconnect.
I get into that conversation with Emma a lot because obviously we're on the road a lot, and she likes to FaceTime, and I hate FaceTiming. I hate it.
Oh, dude.
It's just not the same thing. And so she's like, "Oh, why don't we just like hang out over FaceTime?" I like hanging out with her in person. FaceTime does not scratch the same itch.
I'm not a FaceTime guy either. Colton Oast, huge FaceTime, especially after a few cocktails guy. Huge FaceTime guy. Just love his face. He actually told me a great story this last weekend of somebody, a big name, whose phone number he got, and they were having a good time, and the person gave him his phone number, and Colt goes to him, "Just so you know, if you continue to give me your phone number, I'm going to drunk FaceTime you." He's like, "I want you to know," before he finished. The guy was like, "I'm cool with that." Colt was like, "All right." He just drunk FaceTime. I'm not a big FaceTime guy either. Another interesting thing on Rogan that he talks about is having headphones on all the time.
Yeah.
Whenever he interviews people, so that everybody, if you can hear your own voice and the other person's, that you don't then jump higher, but everybody's natural inclination is to talk over people. And therefore, if you can't actually even hear your own voice, you just start speaking louder and louder, and it's a disaster. So I've always found that interesting.
Yeah. No, it's a strange world we're living in, but that is what it is.
You know that we've been part of the Chevy EV family, but we have big news. The first ever all-electric Silverado is the official Barstool most valuable truck. We got a chance to see this thing and experience it, and it is a game changer. We absolutely love Chevy. The Silverado is just such an iconic truck. I got my little bum inside a Silverado when I went to the Chevy EV dealership. And let me tell you something. Spaceship. Absolute spaceship. It's a big boy too. You're looking outside of that window. What is it? The
Windshield?
windshield. You're looking outside of that windshield
thing in the front.
You're looking
The
outside of
front
the windshield,
window.
and you're like, this thing's a boat. But then it just like moves so smoothly and it's so quiet. But the inside, the infotainment systems, I don't know if you can find a better interior than these new Chevy EVs. They are beautiful.
Well, and I think for the longest time, people thought electric vehicles were just going to be these little cars that just kind of zip around town, and that was all they were ever going to be. They're now Chevy Silverados.
I got some muscle.
Yeah, this is a muscly car. These are men cars who now they're just EVs. And
Available
it's unbelievable.
400-mile range, GM estimated on a full charge, which is just simply preposterous for an electric vehicle. Large 17-inch diagonal display screen, which I just talked about. 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds with wow mode and up to an impressive 785 foot-pounds of torque. You got to head over to Chevy.com to learn more. Click on all the trims. Click on all the options. Make your perfect Silverado on that website right now, and I'm telling you, you will not regret it. It's a great website to go on to just dream about a new car, to just look for a new car. Chevy.com. Go over there right now to learn more. Thank you very much to our dear friends at Chevy.
I want to hear, before we get into some golf talk, there was kind of chaos yesterday at Colonial. There's some Phil versus Brandel stuff going on. There's some golf rounds that we played. There's a wild story out of NCAA. Somebody impaled themselves on a golf tee. But I want to hear about Taylor Swift. And I believe Frank Borelli III, you know, it's funny observing through the internet as Taylor Swift moves throughout the country, and like the people that you follow in Nashville a couple weeks ago, or like all the Nashville people are going and weighing in. Clearly, she made the rounds at MetLife in the tri-state area over the last weekend, and everybody, including Alex Busch, who I thought Alex Busch turned into like a 13-year-old teenage girl over
It was
the weekend.
crazy.
I love
with his post, which I love too. I love Taylor Swift. I want to go to Eras Tour, but it was incredible observing her clearly move up to the New York area and everybody weighing in and posting all their stuff. But Frankie, I saw even like some text that you sent to someone else that they then put out about how great it was. But as a theatrical guy and one who gets into it, we got to hear about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no, that was Feidelberg that I was talking to, because he's like,
that's right.
How was it? It's really hard to describe, because it doesn't matter if you like her or you don't. If you're there, you just get swept up in it, because you have 100,000 people that are reacting in a way that you'll never, ever, ever see it again. Like, there were moments where I actually were hitting people to my left and right, being like, look to your left and right, and this is the last time until you're dead that you'll ever see this. Ever. It will not be replicated. It's impossible. Like, unless like aliens came down and swooped our brains into some machine and like made us all start jumping up and down in synchronization. It's impossible for one person to galvanize that many people to lose their minds. It's like the Beatles on steroids. It's these videos that you've seen of people crying and like Elvis and they're passing out. That's what it was. There's a video I have of her singing Love Story, and I'm panning right to left, and it looks like it's a wave of water. And you're looking at each individual person, and each one's doing their arms. You're like, how is 100,000 people doing that? There's not one person just standing still. It's crazy. So you get swept up in it. Like, every word she says when she starts a new song, place fucking erupts. Like, legit, like fireworks go up when she plays the first beat of a song. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I know everything I do is the biggest thing in the world, and everything is the greatest thing of all time. Everyone always tweets that at me. But this genuinely, I think, has to be the best live performance I'll ever see. It has to be. She puts the most money into it. She's an amazing performer. She also, out of 44 songs, she might have 35 songs that you're like, holy fuck, that's like the most popular song ever. You're just like, I can't believe that's another one of her songs. It's crazy. So yeah, it blew me away, man. It fucking blew me away.
I thought that was I watched Dave's video, reaction after the concert too, and his point was like, yeah, she could be a great performer, she could have amazing songs, all that, but the fact that the whole crowd is just 1,000,000% into every moment of the show, he said, just makes it unlike anything else, because stadium shows could be disconnected because it's not intimate, whatever. But that was a great point of like Taylor Swift, her songs are just a combination of deep, of revealing, but also of like, you kind of just move a little bit and like sing along, and you know the words, and they're catchy.
I mean, they're
but also,
perfect
like,
for a concert. They're perfect.
So, unreal. I want to go. I really want to go.
Like, I would say you have to go. That's how that's how insane it is. I don't care what the price is at this point. It's that. After leaving, I said, like, we ended up. So shout out to our guy Mike Mann. This guy is an absolute cartoon character of a human being, but he is just like one of the best people in my life that have come around in my life at this point. But he ended up getting us this suite at MetLife, and we invited Dave and Silvana, and we had everyone. I had my fiance, I had my future sister-in-law, brother-in-law. It was amazing, and I walked out of there being like, I think I would have paid for that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I actually think I would have paid for that ticket. Because the tickets are insane.
No, I get
the tickets are $4,000.
It's just a fucking hilarious way of like stating how much you enjoyed the concert.
Yeah. Right. Because the tickets are insane.
I would have paid for
such
the
an
ticket.
asshole way to.
It is.
There's 300,000 people that were there this week that were like, yeah, no, we did pay for it. It was great.
But there's a lot of people that probably couldn't go because, like, I don't know that pre-show I would have been like, yeah, I'm going to pay $4,000 to go to that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
No, I get what you're saying for sure.
Like, it was, yeah, we were lucky enough to get.
Like, you like Taylor Swift, but you're not a Taylor Swift Swiftie guy.
Dude, I don't even, 4,000, I'd have to really sit down and think about spending $4,000 on an Islanders ticket. I'd have to really sit there and be like, right. But like, I'd really have to have conversations about, like, you understand that instead of getting like a new backyard pergola, we're going to a 3-hour game, right? Like, you understand, like, this is a fucking purchase right now. For 2 tickets, we're going for $10,000 maybe. Like, this is a fucking purchase. And yeah, so I mean, it was insane. We had a suite with like food and drinks. It was, I don't know what that thing was worth. Who knows?
I believe your description, because I've seen like people talk about it and everybody's like, this is the best tour that anyone has ever seen. It does solidify my opinion that concert videos that people take are utterly pointless. I think people, I'm going to sound old when I say it, but people should stop doing that, because first of all, the videos are horrible. Like, you just described the greatest concert experience of all time. You're saying this is the greatest performer ever. She galvanizes a fan base. She's got 150,000 people singing every word. And I've seen videos from that concert and I'm like, it looks like any other concert. So
yeah,
I'm saying the in-person experience is so much better. And when you try to transfer it, it's almost a little bit like we're talking about with the in-person versus Zoom podcast, where the disconnect is just like, it's not even worth putting on your phone, in my opinion. Like, just be there, just experience it.
Totally.
Like, have the best time ever when you're sitting there watching your favorite artist perform, as opposed to, I'm going to look at this, because some people watch it through the screen that they're recording, and that's insane. Like, that video, you're not, even if you put it on your Insta story, it's going to be alive for 24 hours. People who watch it are like, oh, that just looks like any other concert video I've ever seen. So just,
but you know why
I sound like I'm 150 years old, but I'm just saying, just enjoy the concert.
They're not posting it to show you like how like, it's not like a cinematography type thing where they're like trying to show you amazing views of like Taylor Swift. They're just saying like, I'm at Taylor Swift right now, you should be jealous. That's all social media is.
Well, I don't love that motivation either.
I think there's a degree of like, this is such a cool experience, I have to capture this and repurpose it for people.
The posting aspect is like, I'm at Taylor Swift, right?
True. Yeah,
isn't
but
that like 99% of our culture?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that there's like, they could just post a picture of it and be like, look, we're close. But people post video after video after video after video of every song. And I think they do that because and I don't blame them. I've been there too, where you're like, it's almost like when you try to take a picture at night of like the moon, when the moon is popping, and you look and it just looks like a white dot on your phone, and you're like, that doesn't really capture. It's kind of this like, it was almost like this romantic, beautiful view, and this is just a white dot on
Because
like a dark
everybody who's been to
thing.
a concert has done it, like Riggs is
Yeah.
saying. And the in-concert experience I love it. I love going to concerts. And that feeling of when you're there, there's just no way you're going to capture that in a video. It's impossible. You just, for whatever reason, it doesn't feel like the way that it feels when you're there.
I think, like, Frankie, you're better at this than we are. Of like when you take pictures when you play golf courses and you share like 5, 6, 10 of them.
The best.
I think you're really good at that. And
Value
I think
add.
that you're genuinely trying to be like, I want people to see how beautiful this is. This is amazing out here.
Yeah.
The only
Pictures definitely
videos
come
that
across better.
Yeah,
for sure.
True.
The only videos that I was super excited to see from the Taylor Swift concert were the Kelly Keegs videos. Her bawling,
They delivered.
her having a full-on religious
Those
experience.
showed the difference.
What's that?
Those showed the difference. Like,
Well,
you could
because it was
see
on her.
Yeah.
The videos were her. The one video is the one that Fran took, where it was just you're looking at Kelly Keegs just bawling. Like that almost gives me more of what the experience is like than seeing her perform Blank Spaces or whatever when I can barely even see her on that stage.
Yeah. Yeah, the shots of like the actual stage are zero. I had one video, I should have put it up, of that crowd. And you like it's a zoom in from right to left of the turn of the bowl at MetLife. And I've sent it to like my buddies and they're like, it's an oh shit, like that. It could be on a major Instagram account and people would be like, that's one of the craziest things there. It's that crazy. It looks like a wave of people. And
See,
you're
that's
like,
that's a video
man?
I would look at and enjoy.
Yeah. So I don't know.
There's,
It's fucking crazy. It's Taylor. If you would have asked me 2 months ago if I would have been if I even would have went to Taylor Swift, I probably would have said no. I like Taylor Swift a lot, but I never would have imagined being there and getting that swept up in it. Ever would have imagined that.
She's also one of those artists where the people who don't like Taylor Swift, like I just know the hits. I mean, she's great. The music that I hear from her is great, but I don't know the deep cuts on Folklore. Like I don't know those things. But the people who just outwardly and fully are like, Taylor Swift sucks, it's like, that doesn't make any sense. You're disagreeing with just a mass amount of people, the majority of people, really. And those people, I just don't understand those people. They're interesting.
It is, yeah. I mean, as Feidelberg says, it is a white crowd. It's a
Sure.
It's a very rich white like female crowd. That's what it. I mean,
true.
Out of 100,000 people, there may have been 98,000 females there. It was something.
Oh, it has to be.
It was a sight to behold. I mean, you're looking around, you're like, what? You'll never see this again either. You'll never see this again. I mean, she could. And Feidelberg just says all the right things all the time, but I mean, she could become president. There's no doubt about it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, there's a certain level of fame now, and she is at the top of it. Where if you're that famous, you could just become president.
So who do you think is?
Who's the
I
line?
think we talked about this. No, I think we talked about this when we golfed. We'll talk about this also. We golfed with the two of our winners from the Black Friday event that we had.
Those guys are great.
And at one point, someone said, "Is she?" I think we talked about this there. Is she like the biggest singer of the generation? She's the biggest star of this generation, right?
Well, yeah, we did talk about it. The conversation was between her and Kanye.
Yeah. I actually
What
brought
about
this up to Dave,
Beyonce?
I think.
Beyonce's a good one.
So me, Dave, and Savannah said it was Taylor Swift, Kanye, and Beyonce just because of just like knowingness.
Should probably
People
put Rihanna on that list too.
But I don't think anyone elicits the reaction from their fans that Taylor Swift does.
But dude, Kanye sold out like Soldier Field 4 nights in a row, and he was just like thinking about music.
Kanye West hates Jewish people, so he's kind of out of this.
But that also
conversation
makes
as far
him
as I'm
super
concerned.
popular,
Yeah.
We're talking about
right?
notoriety, and
him
I
just being in the
agree with
news
you.
for
The
being
things
a-
that he's said is outrageous, and he's a piece of shit. But if you're talking about it just in the context of the conversation, like
I think
he's
Taylor
super
Swift is
famous.
big. I think Taylor Swift is bigger.
Taylor
than
Swift,
Kanye.
I think, wins. But Kanye, with all the shit that he's done and how bad of a person he's turned into, that also makes you go up in the ranks of like people knowing you, as unfortunately, for probably most of the wrong reasons. But Kanye was in the news for like 3 straight years at this point. I mean, the guy's nonstop. He like ran for president.
I remember
But
they had
I think it's still Taylor.
I think it's Taylor Swift.
Dude, they had a conversation I
it's
remember on
Taylor Swift.
BFFs. This was forever ago, but they were talking about Drake and Taylor Swift in terms of how much music they sell
up
or that
there,
people
too.
listen to.
Drake is definitely up there.
Drake's up there, but one of the big differences was that Taylor puts her records on vinyl and people buy the shit out of them. And I don't think Drake does that. She sold like 5 million records on vinyl, and Drake sold like 10,000. So there's people, her numbers go way up because people are just willing to buy her music in whatever form that she puts it out.
The
and she's, of
merchandise.
course, the streaming numbers, of course, are just through the roof. So it's all an interesting conversation.
Dude, the merchandise is out of this world when you see the lines at these stadium tour shows. You can't even fathom the lines at this place. If there's 100,000 people, there's 80,000 of them online in the first 2 hours. They're all just trying to get one little piece of merchandise, and they're all $60 hoodies. They're all. She released a retaping of one of her CDs, like Midnight, that she is only selling on that Friday at MetLife. You had to see the lines to get into these fucking stores to try and get that CD. It was crazy. So, I think she's gonna make. They're anticipating her to make $600 million to $1 billion based off of like merchandise revenue off this tour. She's gonna make $600 million.
Alone?
No, just based on like how much she ends up pushing. But they're estimating because of the ticket sales and because of all that
from the tour in total.
If they estimate that she sells like $200 worth of a ticket, even though they're being resold for $4,000, $5,000, she's gonna make like $600 million to $1 billion.
I mean, she deserves it from what I'm seeing.
Right, she's got a loyal fan base that is massive.
By the way, she's already worth She's already worth $500 million.
Yeah, dude. No, she's gonna be fine. Overall, she's gonna be all right.
Last thing I'll say about this is, do you guys? And I tried to make this point. Isn't it kind of like selfless? And this is like a huge, just like I'm a Taylor Swift fan now, but when you get that big, and your whole year and a year and a half is devoted to just putting on a show for the fans like that, it's kind of like selfless where almost I wouldn't want to do it. Like when I watch what she has to do, she puts on 3 shows for 3.5 hours, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. She has to go to the next city right after that and prepare for the next show. And you're doing that for legitimately a year straight. You're going all over the country, all over the world. You can't even step outside without people wanting to like put a bag over you and like fucking take you home. It's like crazy. She's the biggest star in the world right now. And it just makes me think like her whole year's gone. It's just the same songs, the same stadiums, the same outfits. She goes out to the same spot on the stage for a year. I mean, she's going to go international. That's like selfless at some point where you're just like, you have one life to live and you're just giving up a year of it to just like give everyone what they want. Like,
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that. I'm definitely not saying that. But I am saying if there's $600 million to $1 billion at the end of it,
I know
I'll be selfless for a year.
But she's already worth $500 million though, so it's like I could have just.
You always want more.
Look, I mean, we've done.
She probably loves it.
We've done like 2 live shows ever, and it's stressful. And you're trying to plan it. She does hundreds or whatever it is a year, and I get that they're pretty similar some, but she's got new special guests come out each time, a little bit of a new special songs. You're in a different state, you're different stuff. There's preparation that goes in. You got to make sure you don't mess it up. Fly to another spot. We go to classics all throughout the year. Going to a classic versus like what she does every night is laughable. And even we get like we're traveling
run
too
down.
Much. You get run down, right? Burned out, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So for her to be doing that, I agree with you. It's outrageous, but that's why you're an absolute megastar. And I would assume the energy levels are,
it gets her going.
Probably what keep her going is when you fucking roll out there and there's 100,000 people going bananas for you, crying over you being out there. Like, I imagine that pumps some adrenaline and energy. It helps you get through it. But there's no doubt about it. She's got to be run down like a motherfucker.
And you have to stay healthy. Voice, all that.
Yeah,
like you have
Morgan
to stay
Wallen
perfectly
that right now.
Healthy. You can't fuck up. So she's got to be having like doctors with her and IV bags and vocal cord coaches and shit. It's just got to be overwhelming. It has to be overwhelming.
Funny to think like all the 9-to-5 stuff that people do, and that's just what she does. She's got the voice coaches. She's like choreographing what the next show is going to look like. She's got this like just all day, every day. I guess like they don't have a bus or anything, right? They just fly everywhere.
I mean, I saw like the most tour trucks I've ever seen in my entire life outside of that place because the set is preposterous. But she definitely, she has some sort of bus out of there, and then after this tour, she's got to be flying. She's got to be like blinking and showing up somewhere with all the money she's made.
Probably teleports.
Yeah,
that'd be my guess.
Aaron Rodgers and Miles Teller were like there the last 2 nights. Aaron Rodgers has gone to like 4 shows already. That's
Aaron Rodgers is feeling himself in New York. He's like courtside at the Knicks games. He's really making the rounds. Yeah,
that's what you do in New York. You got to be able to just embrace it.
Yeah, Taylor Swift. I've been looking at dates and trying to figure out how I could get to one of these.
Pay
things,
for
but
it. If you don't have a mic, man, you got to pay for it. You just got to go, dude. You have to go.
I have no issues.
I think
paying for it.
that might be the greatest tagline for any concert ever.
I
A
would've paid
show
for it.
so good, I would have paid for it.
Yeah. Because I wasn't a Swift fan. That's the only way, right? Like you get invited to something, you're like, yeah, I'll go to that.
That's actually interesting. There should be like a section reserved for people who aren't a fan of the person performing to see if they can flip them.
You got to get your toe wet. You got to see what the temperature is.
Like if I were Taylor Swift, I would take 150 seats and I'd be like, these are reserved for people who hate me, who don't like or aren't really that aware of my music, but for some reason don't like me. Fill those seats and see if you can change their mind.
I hope that I've done her justice on this show because like I feel like people are gonna be mad that I said I wasn't the biggest fan going in. I just like
I think
I
that's
don't know.
honest.
I wasn't even thinking about going to that tour because it's just like I'm seeing these prices. I'm like, I'm not whatever. And then you get lucky enough to get invited and you're like, I'm absolutely going because I have to witness this. And then you leave being like, yep, that was worth it. I can see why everyone did that. I can see why it's what it is. So yeah, it's amazing.
Social media has swayed me over the last couple months.
I might go again. I might go
again.
I might go somewhere else. She's playing in LA for 5 nights. Isn't that crazy? Well, I think it's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or something like that. It's fucking nuts in a row. Don't get the sniffles. Don't get the sniffles. She's selling out SoFi Stadium 5 times to end the tour in the US, and then she's going wherever.
Jesus Christ. Alex Busch. I want to hear from Alex Busch because he, again, I mean, his posts about it were if you thought Frankie was pretty emotional about this thing, this Alex Busch reaction. Bushman, you there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just ridiculous. But I mean, I agree with everything Frankie said, and it's actually kind of crazy to see from him because I've been a big fan since probably like middle school, and I've never seen her, so it was kind of just like crazy for us to see it in person. It's like seeing someone that you're like, oh shit, she actually like exists and is like performing in front of you. And you like the Eras tour is different than everything else too. Cause it's like, you go through all these different, she goes through every single era for pretty much her discography. And it's like different parts of your life that it brings you back to if you've been a fan for a while. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. But I mean,
I'll try my whole life, but nothing will ever beat that night.
The best one is I am
Alex Busch,
deceased.
Captain.
I
was deceased. I literally was deceased.
That was a good one too. That was a really good one.
God
I love
damn
it. I love it.
I'm just looking. I'm 9 months older than Taylor Swift. She's 33.
Yeah, 1989.
Yeah, Kelly Keegs. One of her good points that made was she was like, Taylor Swift is 1 year older than I am, and she's like, every phase of my life, every time she's released a new album, it is like spoken to a part of my life or whatever resonated with what I was going through at that time. So I literally have like lived my life through her music.
Oh,
and
yeah.
when Bush just said that of the fact that, you know, it brings you back to, you know, whatever it was, even if an album from 10 years ago, you remember that point in your life as those songs are being played. I mean, that's just a hell of an experience.
I mean,
That's
Kelly
actually
Keegs is like number one of who she's speaking to, like relationship problems, living in New York City, like being like a badass bitch that's like making it on your own. Like Kelly Keegs is literally
Main
like
character.
Taylor Swift is speaking to Kelly. Like that's who her person is, right? Like talking about being strong and all, like that is Kelly. That's fucking Kelly Keegs. I'm so happy that she went because there was talk about there being maybe like an extra ticket in that suite, and we were like, and Dave was like, we got like Kelly's the girl. Like before that, we knew that she had tickets. It was like that's the person that we have to get in, like regardless. Sure. So shout out to Dave for like making sure that was she was always going to go regardless. You know what I mean? Like she was getting to that show. I would have given it my seat for sure.
I don't have an artist that has followed me throughout my whole life. Most artists don't have careers like that. Most artists
true.
They're popular for 5-6 years if they're lucky. But I don't have anybody like that. The closest would be Drake. I've been listening to Drake for 15 years. But other than that, I don't have an artist that has followed me throughout my whole life. That's pretty interesting.
Probably a band out there you're not thinking about.
But like for me,
oh yeah,
like Kelly is Taylor Swift,
yeah.
like an artist that I like, that I'm like super into. I'm sure there's bands that have been around my whole life, but I'm saying, yeah, for me personally.
Well, if like Tyler Childers keeps going for the next like 20 years, you'll remember all the fucking albums. It's just too early.
Maybe it can start now.
Start now.
Game Time is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, created by fans for fans. Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. We talk a lot, and I'm sure this is coming after we talked a decent amount about Taylor Swift and going to concerts and seeing live events. You just have to do it. It's a part of life that it's one of the greatest parts of life that we have, is seeing live events. It's the thing to do, and without it, life would be very, very boring.
Yeah, I mean, we all spend an absurd amount of time on our phones, so it's a really, really nice antidote to go and watch something happen in front of you with your own two eyes and share it with friends. It's you never regret it. You never regret going to see a live performance.
Concerts are a magical experience. We do talk a lot about it on this show, but it's a feeling you can't get anywhere else. You can listen to music in your car, you can listen to music while you're around the apartment or whatever, but there's nothing like going and seeing your favorite artist, and Game Time makes that incredibly simple.
And summer concerts are just that much more fun. They're outside. You feel comfortable. You got less clothing on. Everyone around you has less clothing. It's just like everyone's just fucking feeling good. It reminds you of like Woodstock or something.
I want to go. Now that I'm out on Long Island, I want to go to Jones Beach for a concert at some point this summer.
Jones Beach is one of the greatest amphitheaters in the world. When you go to Red Rocks in Colorado, they actually have a like a little museum there about what Red Rocks is and the amphitheater and like the history of the amphitheater, and it goes all the way back to like whatever, all the history of it. But they have a picture of Jones Beach saying that it's like one of the greatest ones in the world. I don't know if it has to do with like the capacity or something, but it's incredible. So go on Game Time, get your tickets to the Jones Beach Amphitheater, and all the other games. Baseball is in full swing, obviously, right now. I need to get to a baseball game so bad. I want to go to a Yankee game so badly. So I'll be going on Game Time app, which is the biggest last minute price drop ticketing app that you can find. Last minute, you got to go on Game Time. The purchase process just takes 2 taps and under 10 seconds. And once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. No printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text message, so you can get into the game seamlessly, skip the hassle, and enjoy the moment. So listen right here is what you have to do. Download the Game Time app or go to the website, enter your email, and redeem code FORE, F-O-R-E, for $20 off your first purchase. That's download the Game Time app and use the code FORE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
All right, little golf action. The Charles Schwab course played tough down at the Colonial, historic track, more history than you could imagine. 8 under won the tournament, which is wild. I remember the Hall guy, who, what an interesting cat that guy is. He was 12 under through 2 rounds of golf, I believe, and the winning score finished being 8 under. So you never fucking know out there. A lot of time that probably looked like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to be 15, 16 under to win this thing. Nope. 8 under, got into a playoff. There was a double bogey finish where Griot hit his ball right, goes into the canal. Water picks it up and takes it 150 yards away from where it actually originally entered. He ends up making double, goes into the playoff, wins on the second playoff hole, I believe it was, with like a 5-foot birdie putt. So nice to see him get the win anyways, but kind of a wild finish for a historic venue. Scotty Scheffler was up there again, finished 1 stroke back. He has just been putting awful. I don't know if the stats back that up. I'm sure that they do, but
they do.
He's been just putting awful all year. He's been gaining 3-4 strokes a tournament with the ball striking, or around, maybe tournament round, a lot, and still not really able to break through and win as much as he would like to be because his putting's been hurting him so much. But he was right there. I saw Ricky Fowler, I think, was only a few shots back. He finished inside the top 5 or 10. So interesting week, crazy finish. Kind of tough for probably a lot of people to be paying attention to golf a week after a major championship plus Memorial Day weekend. But if you were, some chaos down the stretch.
Yeah, they're blowing up the golf course. They're redoing the golf course. So whenever that happens, when they're doing it like the Monday after, the greenskeeper kind of lets things go. And those greens were like almost purple yesterday. They were so firm. Yeah, Scotty Scheffler. So he finished 1 shot back for the week, and he lost 4.5 putting. So if he puts average, he wins by 3. Yeah, he was first and off the tee, 4th in strokes gained approach. That's got to be a maddening pattern, a maddening way to play golf. Feel like you just have all these putts, and you should be winning the tournaments, and you're not.
We've seen those
And-
clips of him getting mad at his
Yeah,
putting.
he gets fiery with the putting. Remember, there's that clip where his coach Randy Smith. I don't remember if it was before the Masters or before the Players or something, and he's standing over, and his coach is like trying to. He's like, "I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing
Right.
it. Why isn't it? Why aren't they going in?" He's got a little fire underneath him. But yeah, no, hitting the ball at just a ridiculous level, and nice to see Griot get another win, first one in like almost 10 years or something.
Yeah. I think 7.5 years it was in between wins. I like that in between the while they're waiting for the playoff. I think he invited like a couple of young kids to come out and hit shots, so he was staying loose even after the double bogey and the whole deal. So very nice to see. He was clearly like emotional after coming back from 7.5 years. So that stuff's always fantastic. But the Scotty stuff, we were talking about how bad he putted. He shot 67, 67, 72, 67. And it was clearly a difficult golf course. So it's amazing how well he's hitting the golf ball that he could be yelling at people and freaking out and upset with his coach. And he's not yelling at people, but clearly upset, more fiery than he usually is. And he's shooting fucking 67s and finished one shot back. So he's going to be a serious problem once he figures his putting out. We told a story for like 4 hours trying to figure out his putting at the Ryder Cup a couple years ago. And then he went out that week, had an amazing week, took down John Rahm, which was sort of a precursor to him becoming number one in the world, winning the Masters the following spring and all that. But Ricky Fowler, I saw finish T6. So that's something to keep note of. He was 5 under, so only 3 shots back. Max Homa up there in the top 10. He finished tied for 4th. But the Ricky thing, man, you gotta just think that in the same way that we talk about certain sports teams that get the games better when that team's good. If Ricky Fowler is good again, Ricky Fowler comes charging back again. That's just phenomenal for everybody. And he's sneaking having, I believe, Dan, a phenomenal year, isn't he?
Great year. A lot of top 10s. He's back. I saw he qualified for the British Open yesterday. He's back inside the top 50. Been sort of creeping up. He hasn't really like been that close to winning. He hasn't really like had a chance with 3 holes down the stretch, but it's coming. I mean, you keep on knocking on the door, it's coming. So it's nice to see him back for sure. It was pretty dark there for a little while. I'd go back to Butch Harmon and things got markedly better.
I'll believe it when I see it.
That Charles Barkley clip where he was talking about the college basketball team. He goes, "Them boys are coming. Them young boys are coming." You ever see
What
that?
was he talking about?
And Shaq goes,
Yeah.
Shaq's
Yeah.
like, what?
Oh,
I think Charles and Shaq like just say things to each other and make each other laugh. And Charles at one point just goes, them boys are coming." And Shaq just fucking goes. He couldn't hold that laugh for the next 2 straight minutes.
Do we want to do a Michael Block update?
Well, yeah, but first we have to do something even better, which is For the Cut has hit 3 times in a row.
3 in a row.
3 in a row. We are
That's-
mellowing our ass to the next one. Are you kidding me right now?
This
3 in a row.
insanity.
And every tweet at us like, horrible odds. Why would I do this? You guys are ice cold. 3 in a row. We've picked
3.
4 golfers to make the cut in 3 different events in a row, and we've hit every single one of them. If you're not on this train, what are you doing? We're hot.
We're hot.
It's like
We're hot
you
again.
walk over to
We're
a
hot
roulette
again.
table and you see the colors and you're like, oh, it's gotta go black. No, you just roll with it. How'd it get from 1 to 3? You're hot. It's gonna go from 3 to 5. It's gonna go from 5 to 7. It's usually you have to be a part of the ride. You know what I mean? You can't just watch. This is insane.
I couldn't agree more. We're on a roll. Feels good.
Feels
We were
real
cold.
good.
Now we're hot. Now we're hot like the sun.
Oh my god.
We're hot again.
Yeah.
We were so red hot at the beginning of the year. We were hitting plus 925.
We're streaky.
Shit.
We're streaky.
Yeah, we're
we
streaky.
are.
We're
So
streaky
get involved now because who
Yeah.
knows?
It's like
Who
the
knows?
ice
You gotta,
age, right? Didn't the ice age get really cold and then like absurdly hot too at the end of it?
I don't know.
Sure. That
think-
sounds
Yeah,
right.
that sounds right.
Yeah.
We got to go. All right, we got to pick our For the Cut again. We got to get this thing. We got to get this thing going. Have folks looked?
No.
No.
Well, the best part of For the Cut is we kind of just like throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. So
100%.
I'm fine to just go right off the top of the dome here. Once I get this pulled up on the Barstool Sportsbook, I'm fine
Yep.
with that.
Memorial, right?
We're
Yeah,
at the
Memorial.
Memorial.
I'm
We're
going
at
for a
Jack's
few
place.
days.
Milkshakes, the whole deal.
You're going, Dan
I'm gonna go.
Rappaport?
I'm going for a few days. Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm gonna go Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah.
That's great.
and Rapport's going, which is nice. Okay. I'm
I got
gonna
my
go. I'm trying. Okay, once again, I'm trying to go with somebody. I'm trying to give the folks the highest odds possible while obviously making the cut. That's what we're trying to do here. I'm gonna go Brendan Todd. Wow,
Okay.
to make the cut.
Davis Riley.
Okay,
Oh boy.
What was last week? Like 260? I think it was like
250,
2
I
weeks
think
in a
it
row
was.
of like 250. But the week
And those
before,
are two
I think,
names.
was in the
Those
fives.
two names are going to be healthy. That's going to be a healthy number, I think.
Yeah,
I agree. We're getting up there, which is good.
Well, then I'm going to bring it back to earth a little bit. I'm going to say Wyndham Clark.
Oh, I'll add my on that a little bit. I'm going to bring the odds. We're just going to kind of even it out a little bit. I'm going to say Jason Day.
Wow. This feels like four
He's
in a
won
row.
the Memorials. He won the Memorial before, Dan. I feel like he has.
It sounds right. He's definitely from there. No, actually, I don't think he has, but he's from there. That's why you're thinking about it.
That's why I'm thinking Columbus and
Yeah.
the whole deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that like sick backyard, doesn't he? Where he
He's got a full compound back there.
seeing all kinds of good stuff back
That's
there.
when you
All
really
right.
know you made it, when you have a compound.
Yeah. A full
Like
practice
Drake has a
facility.
compound.
Yeah.
Jason Day has a compound. I think Conor McGregor has
True.
a compound. Like if it's
Compounds.
not a house anymore, if you have
Yeah.
a compound, you've done well for yourself.
Dude, I
DJ
was-
Khaled, I saw some videos, has like a golf compound in the back. Yeah.
I was looking at some videos the other day. It was like houses you won't believe. And I'm like, these aren't even houses, number one. Number two, it just makes you think like, how do they have that much money? I put down like new pavers in my backyard and all my friends came down. They're like, this is amazing. Look at this backyard. And it's like 20 by 40 feet or something like that. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking about these compounds and I'm zooming in and looking at how many pavers they have from one area of the backyard to the other. And I'm like, even that right there is like, that's going to be $1 million worth of concrete that they're putting down to go from one side to like the basketball court. Like, I mean, how much money do they actually think about the planting? You ever see some of these backyards?
Just the maintenance cost.
Insane.
Just
The
the
maintenance.
maintenance cost.
Yeah, maintenance is people
Just to
always
run the
forget, like,
bathroom water.
It costs $25 million to put all this stuff in, but then yearly to make it look good every time, it's going to cost another $500,000 a year to make it look good. Oh,
Taxes.
these
the property
people, these
taxes.
folks have a lot of money.
And you really realize when you travel the country like we do, how many people do have money.
There's so many big houses everywhere.
So
I
many.
always have that reaction where I see a whole cliff of homes in Newport Beach, and I'm like, how are there that many people that can afford a house on a cliff like that?
You would think like not one person. I don't know one person, and not one person that I know knows one person that owns any of those. So I just don't know who these people are. And then you go like anywhere in the country, and there's like blow you away houses and money, and you're like, how is there a whole town of this? How is there 10 towns? But whatever. And unfortunately, on the other side, there's that much of the complete opposite. So it's fucking crazy when you travel.
Yeah, there's
that
way
much
more.
and
There's
see-
way more of that.
way more.
Way
of
more.
the complete opposite.
Yeah. So it's a fucking crazy country we live in. But those compounds, man, they'll make you think. They really make you think. They make you sit back and kind of do that. Like, oh my god.
I watched Caleb do an interview, Caleb Presley, about when he went and did the interview with Drake. And he said when we got to the house, the guy, I think it was Theo Vaughn who he was talking to. Theo Vaughn was like, "Who opens the door when you knock? Like, it's not Drake. Like, who opens that front door?" And Caleb said they didn't see Drake they were in the house for 2 hours and they didn't see him. He didn't emerge from one of the corners of the house until 2 hours into the visit, and that's a compound.
I'd have to lock myself in a closet, and you guys would have to call the police for you to not know if I'm in the house for 2 hours.
You would have to search my apartment for 4 minutes until you found me.
Yeah.
I could hide in the best spot there is, and there's just no spots.
Here in the ceiling, we're just like, he's up there.
I'd come crashing through that thing.
All right, for the cut, we got B. Todd, Davis Riley, Wyndham Clark, Jason Day.
Father's Day is coming up fast, and if you haven't started shopping yet, do not sweat it. We have the ultimate gift inspiration so you can finally be your father's favorite child. And I want to let you guys know that favorite is actually spelt in the English way. The old
With a
English
U?
way. Yeah, with a U.
Interesting.
Favorite child.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
And like, I hate when they do the color. Even better, if you're a dad, get yourself a gift this year that you'll actually enjoy. I'm telling you right now, we can talk to you about G4 all day. You're never going to realize how good it is until you actually put it on your foot. You know what I mean? I can describe it in a million different ways. Once you put it on your foot, you're going to be like, now I know why it's different. It's that
true.
bubble insert.
It's
You put it on-
probably, yeah. It's the bubble insert. I asked about them all the time. I think that's the number one thing I get asked about when I'm playing golf. People, they say, "Yeah, you like those G4s?" I say they're fantastic, and everyone's got their own style. You know, there's a bunch of different ones that cater to everybody. I like the ones that kind of look like, like regular leather shoes that are flat. You guys like the MG4 pluses. I see Riggs wearing the Gallivanters. Everyone's got their style.
Yep, we made our picks. The Mock Toe Gallivanter is the essential shoe for a traditional golfer. All about an athletic look. You have to get your hands on these MG4 Plus golf shoes because they do. They make you feel like an athlete. You feel so good in it. It's foolproof gifting because whichever style you choose is still a premium pair of golf shoes. You know dads do a lot for you. So get him the shoes at G4. Check out g4.com/4. That's GFORE.com/4 FORE for 10% off your first order of G4 shoes. Get it shipped in time. Order by June 9th for guaranteed delivery by Father's Day. So again, G4.com/4 and order by June 9th to guarantee delivery by Father's Day. You will not regret making this purchase. Your dad will not regret having these shoes. It's a fantastic purchase. G4.com/4.
The Memorial. This is, God, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago where they were ripping up the golf course while people were playing the back nine? They were ripping up the front nine.
Such a jack move.
Was just unnecessary. You can just wait till the next day. It's not going to be a problem. But Memorial, tough, sweet course. Really sweet course. A lot of this is one of those too where you just remember. You remember a lot of the holes when they cut back to the coverage. You've seen all these holes. This is one Tiger Woods obviously always played. Whenever Tiger Woods would always play an event, you especially remember it because every time he played, we'd watch. So yeah, you just kind of remember it. You kind of get familiarized with it. It's almost like the players in that way, where it's just nice that they go back to a big tournament. That's got Jack. It's got the name recognition. It's always had a lot of gravity to it. It feels like, and you kind of know the holes and know the closing stretch of where guys need to be able to make birdie and the whole deal. So, they had Memorial too, or Muirfield a couple years ago, or COVID year when they had back-to-back tournaments here, didn't they?
Yeah, Workday, and Memorial. I remember that. Colin Morikawa won the Workday one.
Yeah, Morikawa hit the one on 16 again. Is that 14?
That's right.
Whatever.
That's right.
Whatever
16.
Par 4 that is, where he drove the green.
16's the par 3, I think. It might be 15, somewhere in the back nine.
Was that one of the tournaments where Morikawa lipped out an easy one? And no, what am I thinking?
No, that was Colonial, but he almost did. He had like a 3-footer to get into the playoff. It was like a month later, and it like rimmed in. It was like very close to missing.
Yeah, that's what I'm
No, that's the one. He made the putt. JT made a putt, and then he made the putt on top of him, and there was no one there.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? It was
JT
like
made a long one.
Yeah.
They made bombs. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was there. I remember that.
Wow.
And there were no fans.
None.
No. That was weird. That's when I got my big break. I got my big break. That sounds like really douchey, but I remember it was in 2020, and no one was willing to go to tournaments because everyone was so afraid of COVID. And I was like, I am 25. I don't have a family. Like, I will go to every single one. And I went to like I think I went to like 20 tournaments that year.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. I grinded. That's when I started like doing the tour stuff and like really, really being on.
That's got to be a really interesting. That's an interesting experience that almost no one else has.
Yeah, I was traveling that summer of 2020. I was traveling nonstop, and there was no one ever in the airplanes. There was no one. It was very strange, but it was great for my career. So it was good.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. I remember going to a few majors that year. I went to the Harding Park one.
I remember
that was weird as shit. I remember Saturday mornings round. Tiger like barely made the cut or whatever, so he was off relatively early on Saturday morning. And I remember just like I watched Tiger Woods play a major championship round on Saturday with Robbie Mack and like 4 other people watching, and it was fucking wild.
That one there was wild. No one there because it was California, so they were like extra strict. There was no one there.
I mean, I'm talking less than 10 people watching Tiger Woods play a major championship round on Saturday. It was fucking so weird. Remember we did the podcast where I had
you were walking
one
around.
AirPod in, and we were walking and like talking to Joey a little bit and stuff.
We're trying to get like a little bit of voice from Tiger Woods to say that Tiger Woods was on the show. Yeah, it didn't end up working.
Anyways, Memorial this week, it'll be fun. Amazing tournament, and then we're only 2 weeks away from the U.S. Open, really, which is fucking nuts. So we got this. Then what? RBC is the Canadian Open the following week.
It's my wedding.
I think so. Yeah, I think it is.
I'm getting married in 12 days. Sneaky 12 days.
12 days.
Yeah.
Holy cow! What?
I gotta see if I can.
How much have you done? Like, how much have you done?
Almost nothing.
Yeah,
very little. I learned at the very early in the process that I might have opinions. I might have opinions on things, but they're not nearly as strong as the other people's opinions, and it's just not worth the fight.
Biggest thing I had to do was go on blacktux.com and just like make sure that my guys had like a link to go on the Black Tux and get their tux because I was very late to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to these weddings and I got to figure out if my suit fits because I'm not sure that it
exactly.
does. It fit a year ago, but I was slimmer a year ago. I went to my buddy's wedding in Denver, same suit. I like literally after this podcast, I got to try that thing on.
Trent Daddy might be going like a little modern, no tie, like showing a little chest just because he can't get it around the fucking. People be like Trent with incredible fashion. You can be modern.
I got to get that figured out now because we're on the road for the next like 2 weeks, and then it's like wedding season.
Dude, we also got to talk about the block party. I did cut you up before, but we got to talk about the block party before we get to anything else. But
so the block party, real quick, as a little recap, the block party obviously
has ended.
Stock was never really higher than Sunday afternoon. Monday, he was on this show. Then he gets to Colonial. He's doing everything, which is fine. He does the Menery show. A couple quotes go a little viral that people didn't love as much. He had probably the biggest one was him basically saying if he had crazy length, if he had Rory type length, he believes he could be the best player in the world. Mere hours later, it feels like there were just screenshots everywhere of him dead last, shot 81 in the first round of the event. He ended up finishing, I believe, 15 over for the event after like a 74 in the second round. Missed the cut by a million, and as quickly as the block party began, that shit was shut down.
Yeah, I mean, what did you guys think about those quotes? Because I mean, we love the block party. We had him on; he was fantastic, but. You know, I'm a very opinionated person. I like to like and hate people with a burning passion. And
are you about to say that you hate him?
Well, I started to feel the hate a little bit when I saw some of those clips. Just the way he said them. If I read them in print, I probably would have been like probably taken out of context. Like everyone should believe that they are the best golfer in the world. You should have that in you. That's why you're a competitor. That's why like you feel like you can beat anyone on any given day. I don't think that's a bad thing to say. It was the way that he said it. Like Menery was like, really? And he goes, oh, dude, like without a doubt. Like, have you ever seen me hit a golf ball? And I was like, okay, all right, block party. Like let's pump the brakes a little bit. You're really just taking away things from the guys who are the best player in the world. I feel like by saying that.
Yeah.
Acting like anyone can do it if they just had a little bit of length. It's like, what are you fucking talking about?
It was a turn off, but it didn't change my opinion of him because look, he's asked, right? He's being asked questions. He's not trained for this or used to this, and he's doing too much. He's doing all media, which he should be. Like, good for him. Why wouldn't you be out there getting? He's got fucking agent. He's signing stuff. You're just, when you do that much media, you're gonna say stuff. You're gonna say something. It's gonna come off the wrong way, and to a degree, like people got to realize, like, dude, the block party is just a worse professional golfer than the other guys that we're used to watching. That's what he is. He's not like. He literally was hired like he's this club that he's at where there's, I believe, 2 rich owners, and they hired him to be their head pro so that he'll basically go around, play golf in tournaments, and represent the club. He's not running the day-to-day at the club. That's why he said, he's like, yeah, I really give like a couple lessons a week. I'm sure he does some paper, some stuff. For sure he does a little bit, but generally he goes out, plays in tournaments, wins a lot of tournaments, has a good record. But he's a professional golfer who makes money playing golf a lot and is just worse at it than the other guys, which is cool that he had the showing at the PGA. That was like amazing because he is, by all accounts, not as good at this game as these other guys, even though they're doing a lot of the same stuff. And so for him to have that performance and be the PGA guy in the PGA Championship, all that was so cool. But he finished fucking 15th, like, and you know, and yeah, he finished 15th at the PGA. It's not like he won the Masters. Like, he finished 15th at the PGA. That's, you know, that's kind of it.
It kind of feels like what Frankie was saying last week, where everyone wanted to make him into this complete schlub off the street who had a week where he somehow got, like, you know, Michael Jordan superpowers, like in Space Jam or something, and, you know, he stole someone's powers. It was like, no. You know, he's a professional golfer who's been the Southern California PGA Player of the Year 9 in the last 10 years. So obviously there's some game there, and there's some like playing background there. But, you know, it kind of reminded me of a little bit of like the Rory McIlroy arc, where it's like this stuff will turn on you quick. You know, you're up there and you're talking constantly, and everyone's building you up and building you up and building you up, and then you say something where you cross over, and then people start to view everything you say through that negative lens, and then it's just like a downward spiral.
It's also just the nature of it's what Rick said, where you're on camera way more now. You're talking way more now, and it loses its fairy tale movie quality. Like, because if when he makes a hole in one or when he gets up and down on 18 at the PGA Championship, if the movie ends there, it's great. But you can't realistically expect someone to stop there. He's got this exemption now. He's going to go. He's going to do more interviews. I get that. I understand why he's doing those things. But boy, you would have loved if it had stopped at the up and down on 18, because then you're not going to face as many cameras. You're not going to face as many microphones. And as you do, there's the chance that you're going to say something that people don't like. That's inevitable. Like you just said, Rory McIlroy does that. He's one of the biggest stars in the world, and people turn on him. So it was always going to happen to Michael Block. He's just in a position where he's going to go out there, finish dead last, and people are going to be like, "We told you," and that sucks. That sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
It is what it is.
It's funny. Like we kind of. I saw plenty of screenshots over the last week too of Tiger Woods just taking huge divots.
Dan put one up.
Yeah. I was watching a video of like just on Instagram, like on my toilet in the morning, and I saw a beaver pelt this big, and I'm like, come on, man. Like,
I'm striking it while I don't take divots.
Why do you take divots? That's just really one of the all-time things.
Why do you take divots?
Huh?
We didn't get any tweets from him post PGA, did we? Nothing.
No, I don't think we got anything from Tiger.
No.
Has anyone heard anything about him? How's this recovery?
Well,
doing?
I guess
Is he walking yet?
He's not going to congratulate Brooks, I guess.
I think the surgery is like 12 weeks before you can put any weight on it. From what I think
playing a lot of COD.
Yeah,
probably.
Does he do that anymore?
He's got to do.
He's talked a lot about how these rehab parts are like the worst, like pre-rehab when you can't move. Like for a guy like that's just committed and driven and wants to just be moving weights and fucking hitting balls without taking divots and whatever. For him to just be sitting there for 12 months, this is like the worry period. I feel like
he's on comms right now on COD. There's no way. He's got to be keeping. He's moving his eyes. He's fucking getting his hand-eye coordination going with the fingers. He's doing something.
He withdrew from the U.S. Open. I saw that. That's not good.
Oh, yeah.
Man. He's going to withdraw from the Open as well. Spoiler alert.
Damn it.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina is the golf capital of the world and was recently voted America's favorite buddies trip destination. If you're looking for a good time and a good golf trip where you will leave with memories that will last a lifetime, Myrtle Beach is that top spot. Myrtle Beach features more than 70 golf courses ranging from high-end top 100 courses to wide open and player-friendly courses, perfect for a laid-back round of golf. Whatever your budget is, Myrtle Beach has something for you and your buddies. With more off-the-course activities like breweries, bars, restaurants, nightlife, and any other golf destination, it's no wonder why hundreds of thousands of golfers make a yearly pilgrimage to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We did make a pilgrimage with our fathers there. That video is coming out. Alex Busch, when is that Play Golf Myrtle Beach Father's Day type of video thing that we did coming out? Is that coming out next week?
Yeah, there's 3 different ones. It's going to be right around Father's Day, like right before Father's Day.
I think we're doing like a Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday release, all leading up to Father's Day. That's going to be exciting. So we were in Myrtle Beach and we played Caledonia and we played Barefoot Pete Dye golf course. Phenomenal golf, right, Trent? I mean, just phenomenal.
Dude, and the guys that we played with, Vinny and Dan, once lived in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, that's
and I asked them, why did you guys live in Myrtle Beach? And they said, because there's so much golf down there. They love to play golf so much that they were like, we're not just going to go visit Myrtle Beach. We're going to move down there and we're going to play a ton of golf. But everything that these guys said is true. It's just a great golf destination. If you're looking to put together a buddy's trip, all budgets, go to Myrtle Beach, have a blast. We did it with our dads, and it was a great trip.
And we're giving away, and Play Golf Myrtle Beach is giving away a golf trip for you and your 3 buddies. So listen up right now because you have a chance to win. Visit www.foreplaymyrtlebeach.com to enter to win a 3-day, 3-round golf trip to Myrtle Beach. That's foreplaymyrtlebeach.com. foreplaymyrtlebeach.com to enter to win a 3-day, 3-round golf trip to Myrtle Beach. Do not miss out on that. You want to be able to win. And then if you want to go check out playgolfmyrtlebeach.com, they have all the info on golf packages, courses, hotels, and things to do in one convenient place. And by the way, if you're a group leader who organizes the buddy trip, you are eligible for a free round of golf. You can play for free if you're the leader. You have a chance to do that. Be sure to ask one of the Play Golf Myrtle Beach package partners for more info when you do plan your trip. So again, for playmyrtlebeach.com, enter to win a 3-day, 3-round golf trip to Myrtle.
I got to tell you guys about the history I saw this week. I saw some history this week.
Okay, please.
I've told the other two because I can't keep a secret at all. And I said
He
it
told
right
us he
before
was saved for the show, and then 15 seconds later, he just blurted it out.
Dan always jumps into the link and has really interesting things to say, but we have not started recording yet. So he's just he
Dude,
jumps
I haven't
in.
heard this yet.
Yeah, it is interesting, but it was just,
So,
Dan has done that before.
This is
but-
actually real quick. There's actually a great from the gallery that I put in here, and it's Connor from Dallas who literally said, "How often do you guys have to stop having off-camera conversations and say, let's save it for the pod? Does it take away from your 19th hole banter?"
Yes,
Yeah,
the answer
I
is
mean-
yes, but I still don't save
Yeah.
it. So,
please, the
all
floor
right,
is yours.
so
Dan.
I played golf this past weekend with Stuart Hagestad, who people will know as a kind of a figure in our game, an amateur, mid amateur. He's played on the last 3 Walker Cup teams. Anytime he plays well, people are always making fun of him because they don't think he actually has a real job. He's, obviously he comes from an affluent family, and he's able to do things that other people aren't able to do.
I called him a villain of the amateur world before because
You
like
have
he
said
just
that.
keeps showing up and beating all these guys, and he could have just like turned pro. Like he's good enough to just be a pro.
He has self-awareness where he knows that he's a big fish in a small pond, and there's a certain glamour to it for sure. Anyways,
I like
so
Stu a lot. He's a big
I
fan
like
of the
Stu.
show.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's
He
the
is
best,
like,
but his peers
he's-
have to fucking hate him.
They
Like,
do,
here
but
he
you know what?
comes.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault that he's in a position to be able to do it, and so
Yeah, no.
he tries to be really nice about it. Whatever.
I love when he's on the Walker Cup teams and he's like 30 something and everyone else is like 18.
Yeah.
He's just-
Or when he goes to
So-
the U.S. Open, he has a little carry bag. It's just like, all right, Stu, I know. Just get this guy a tour bag.
And
right
he
now.
he
Come on.
could sign NIL deals, but it would
Oh,
kind
true.
of ruin the amateur
so
clean
rich.
image.
He's so
He's
rich.
not
Doesn't need
he's
it.
not going to show up with like some like tax company on his thing. He's like, no, I'm going to
He
just
could
wear like a
definitely go to Taylor
Shinnecock
Swift.
logo.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he could definitely go to Taylor Swift. Anyway,
you
experience so
wouldn't
good
even
you
have
can
to-
pay for it.
so we
Yeah.
played Quaker Ridge this past weekend, and Quaker Ridge has been open for 107 years, and he
Wow.
shot the lowest round in the history of Quaker Ridge, but it was unofficial because we weren't like playing that way. So the first hole, he took 2 off the first tee. His first ball was just in the right rough. It wasn't like screwed or anything, but we didn't really hit
no.
balls before. And for the first like 3 holes, he was 1 over through 4. So he missed a par putt and it's like 8 inches past the hole. And I just like sort of knock it back because we're just at that point, the course record is just not in our thoughts at all. Then he birdied 4, 5. No, he birdied 5, 6, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18 coming in and no bogeys. Or no, he bogeyed 10. So he shot 63, which is the unofficial course record. But again, we were I putted some back to him. He hit 2 off the first tee. The first hole at Quaker Ridge is a par 5. And if you're in the rough, it's fun to hit another one because you could have a crack at it. He hit it. His first one was in the right rough. His second one was in the middle. It was in the fairway. He hit it on the green and then 3-putted for par. So it wasn't even like the
Wouldn't have
the
mattered,
breakfast ball really did anything. So we were just
Right.
kicking ourselves for the rest of the day, being like, damn it. But dude, that guy, you want to talk about being good enough to be a pro. I've played that course with Fitz like 4 or 5 times, and the lowest he shot is 67. So that was an unbelievable standard of golf. And the 3 of us, I was playing with 2 of my other buddies who are members who are like my age roughly. And we were just like, the last hour and a half was just full like silence. Was like,
Yeah.
like
Throwing a
no hitter
perfect
type
game,
stuff
yeah.
where you're just like, this guy is fucking unconscious. It was
Wow.
so shout out to Stuart Hagestad. That was an impressive standard of golf.
That's
he-
different, man.
It was.
Is he still broomsticking it? Does he broomstick it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He
He's
broomsticks
a big
it.
broomstick guy.
He broomsticks it. His speed is great. He missed short putts on 15 and 16. He hit like 45 perfect shots in a row after like a pretty whatever start. So he's trying to make his fourth.
What's the course record at Quaker Ridge?
I think the course record in competition is, I think Cameron Young shot 64 And they have like an amateur tournament there every year. But this was the lowest round unofficial. But again, it's very unofficial, and I'm kind of kicking myself. But like, if you're not, you're playing with your friends. We were playing in a match. It wasn't like, oh, let's see if you can shoot the course record. It just after like 14 holes, it was like, okay, damn, like something's up here.
Well, the internet would say if you like knocked one 8-inch putt back to him, that he's like a 12 handicap. So
yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately,
but that's cool thing
unofficial
to watch, at least. Like, even if it's not official, like whatever, you got to see it. And that's fucking
what did the
cool.
guys in the pro shop say? Like when you came in and said he shot 63, are they like asking if it was official and all that, or is it up to you guys?
So anytime I've played the course with some good players before, and I always text with the pro like, hey, I'm playing with this guy today, and he's like, oh, what do you think he's going to shoot? So I texted him. I texted him after he shot 32 on the front, after he birdied 8 and 9, and I texted him. I was like, oh, he shot 32. He's like, all right, I'm going to come out there for a little bit. So he came out and watched him hit it to like 5 feet on 12 and make the birdie. And then he saw him hit it to like 25 feet on 13. Then he left. Then he made it on 13. So I texted him being like, he made that. Then he 14's a par 5. He birdied that. And then I was like, all right, he's like 6 under. Like, so then he came back for a little, he was in and out. But yeah, he came up to him after and said, look, it's unofficial because again, you hit 2 balls off the first tee, and like that can't be the official course record. But he said that's the lowest round that we've seen in my tenure by a couple shots. So it was pretty special.
Jesus, that's pretty cool. That's pretty much I mean, it's not going to go up on the wall, but that's pretty bad.
And that's also, Frankie, this is going to like only further your like image of him. He was like, I kind of prefer it that way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to have like my name on the wall, but like the people who know, it's the unofficial course record. So listen, there's a certain self-awareness with Stu.
Love it.
As long as you're aware of it and he's fully aware of it, then like, he's like a bit of a caricature of a human being, but I really, really like him.
And I also saw you played the Black this weekend, Danny Rapp.
Yeah, I played the Black with Brendan Jones. That place.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I guess because in 2019 when I went to the PGA, it was like kind of gloomy and it was like a little bit early in the year. So like colors weren't popping.
Public course, you're a Quaker Ridge guy.
We played it in 75-degree perfect weather. That is an unbelievable golf course.
It's top 10 for me.
The routing,
top 10 for me.
Like how you cross the road after the first hole and then you kind of go up in the trees and back and then you're coming back after the 15. I mean, the piece of land and the routing, I was blown away. It was in perfect condition. I can't recommend it highly enough for anyone who's thought about, is it worth it? Is it worth it? It is 100% worth it. It does not disappoint. I think we fixed Brendan Jones' swing in the back nine. So it was a great day all around. Yeah, he needs to get his win on his. He can't. He's doing too much of this.
He's got a lot of speed. He's got serious speed.
He's a really good athlete. He's a really good athlete. So he just needs a little bit of guidance. But I think Brendan could be like a good player for sure.
Yeah.
There's also a point where he almost swings too slow. He's like his take back is like way too over dramatic. And I'm like, just swing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He is an athlete.
Yeah, he's a good athlete though. But no, it was a great golf week. Beginning of the season, courses are popping here, so it's great.
I was asked this weekend about, like, somebody said, what's a top course for you that people would be surprised by? And I was like, well, look, I try to take out the ocean courses and then try to take out like the mountain courses where a course just gets by on like just being an excellent course without any amazing extracurriculars like a beach or whatever. And Bethpage Black was my number one answer. Where I was like, of all the courses, I think it's more stunning than like than Wingfoot, than like Oakmont. I think
it's my favorite course I've played in New York, which is crazy to say because I've played like all the good private ones. It's unbelievable. The second hole and
stunning is the right word, but it's more charming, that the way it carves through the topography of Long Island. It's fucking great. So yeah, I'm glad you got it. I was pumped when I saw those pictures. That reminded me, we had that, I think it was 2019 leading up to the PGA that year, where we had like 4 weeks in a row. We went out there and played on the weekend on like a Saturday morning, and we had the whole deal. We did like a ad deal. We went out there one time too, and we filmed the whole round. So we were playing it a bunch that spring before that tournament. And that place is fucking fantastic. So huge Bethpage.
Also just a cool vibe because like it's obviously not snooty at all, but because it's walking only, it's people who love golf. Right. You're not gonna get the guys who goes out there in a cart and wants to drink 75 beers and just say that he played the Black. I guess the no cart rule kind of weeds those people out. So everyone has like a reverence for the golf. We didn't wait on a single shot. which was it was 7. We played
That's
at
amazing.
7:30 a.m., so it was kind of early. But the guys in front of us, you could tell it was like 4 guys, probably in their 50s. They were having like a very intense match, and they were moving quickly, and they were fixing all their divots, and they were like, it was just everyone there was just so like grateful to be there and had such respect for the golf course. It was a really, really special day. I loved it.
How many times do you think you played the Black, Frank?
Like 30 times, 30 to 40 times. Yeah, I mean, like it was like a couple times a year that you got out, but like there was one summer where I played like 5 or 6, which feels like a lot. Like if you're playing that course 5 times in one summer, you're like, that was a lot of Bethpage Black, because it's a fucking grind sometimes. Like there's no shade. You're walking. The guys you're playing with are typically getting their ass beat, because like if you're not playing with 4 solid golfers, it's like it's a bad day out there for some guys if you can't get it off the tee and the rough is up. And then it's usually like a 5-6 hour round. If you play at like 11 or 12 o'clock, my God, you're out there all night. Like I had a buddy that teed off at 2:30 there on Saturday and walked off the golf course at 9:15. It was a 7-hour round.
Yeah.
That's
Pitch black.
That's brutal.
Those
9:15
hard
at
courses that are public get that way, man. They're
Yeah,
like,
it's the only negative about Bethpage is that it's like it's a 6-hour round. Like, I mean, average probably way over 5 hours.
Yeah, so we played him like 440. So
Which is
I
amazing.
had a perfect experience. And Brendan Jones and I beat Brendan made some big putts down the stretch. I birdied 17 to close the match. It was just one of those days where you're just like,
how'd you do on
doesn't get
15?
better.
Because that's just
I birdied 15 and 17 were my 2 birdies of the day.
Wow.
Brendan as my witness. I hit driver 4-iron to 6 feet on 15.
Oh my God.
And I hit I hit 6-iron. The pin was in the front right on 17, which is like the easiest pin. It's like below the ridge.
Yeah.
And I hit it just off the right side of the green, but I could still putt it like from the fringe, and I putted it in to close the match out. It was epic.
Come on.
Yeah.
How good is the drive
That
on
hole's
18? Like
sick.
looking out at that fairway, it might be.
So they took out the trees on the left, so it looks even better now.
Wow.
So it's like
nice.
it's totally like an open vista.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know why my expectations were, but it surpassed all of them. It was
Four's
amazing.
like
I
the
would go
best
back
hole
in a
ever.
second. It's
Yeah,
just
4 is one of the coolest holes I've ever seen, I think.
for the par 5. Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
just the whole place. I was blown away by how good it was.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal. I do love that place. I'm excited to get out there this summer. We got to get out and play around. I'm pumped for Jonesy. I'm pumped you kind of fixed his swing a little bit, because we've all tried to talk to him, I think, and just not known what to say. You're close. You're right there. You hit it good.
He actually has some of the like same problems that I have. So when we filmed this lesson with Mark Blackburn, the weight transfer stuff that Mark was giving me like really clicked with Jones. So he's doing better with that.
Love it. All right, boys, I got to catch a flight. So I know you guys got some from the gallery stuff to get through, but I don't want to miss this flight, and it's Memorial Day.
Yeah.
I'm pretty worried that this airport's going to be a fucking zoo right now.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
fine
get out of
with
here.
us.
Frankie and I, we can talk about the golf that we played. As well.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch to talk
All
about.
right, fellas. I'll see everybody Thursday. Goodbye.
All right. Safe
Bye,
travels.
If you suffer from the symptoms of ADHD, the lack of focus, no productivity, your brain is constantly wandering, you need to check out Proper Wild's clean all day energy shots. I have it right here next to my desk. I keep it here.
This
right
is a
before we do
product for
podcasts.
Frankie Borelli.
I keep it right before we do podcasts, and I just take that little shot of it. It's clean. It feels good. It's healthy. They use organic caffeine stacked with L-theanine. Is it L-theanine or L-theanine?
I don't think we've ever gotten to the bottom of the pronunciation.
Well, whatever it is, I think it's L-theanine. It has clinically been shown to boost your energy, focus, and productivity without the jitters or crash. And that is the biggest thing that I'll say. I love Proper Wild because I don't feel like I just took an energy shot. I feel like I just have energy naturally because I don't have those jitters. I'm not kind of like hyped up. I don't fear that I won't be able to go to sleep at night. Sometimes when you do stuff like that, you're like, oh my God, it's going to ruin my whole night. I'm going to feel like crap in the morning. There's no preservatives. There's no artificial sweeteners, no horrible chemicals in it. It's just a natural tasting energy shot with clean ingredients that work. So go to properwild.com/barstool to try Proper Wild for yourself for 30% off. If you want to try this clean all day energy, plant-based energy shots.
What's the flavor you got there?
Oh, I've got the peach mango, but I do like the variety pack. I have so many of the peach mango because it's my favorite flavor. But I like to switch it up from time to time to the variety pack. But properwild.com/barstool to go try 30% off. You have to try it. You have to try it. I'm telling you right now, you will not regret it. Keep them in your golf bag. That's another thing I've been doing. I keep them in my golf bag. And morning tee time tomorrow, we're playing at 8 a.m. I will absolutely be taking a Proper Wild shot before that. 30% off properwild.com/Barstool. We had a hell of a round ourselves this past weekend. Trent and I had our guys, Dan and Vinny, come out to Long Island. I called him Dave on Twitter, and he texted me. He's like, my name all day was not Dave. It was Dan.
Did you
Which
call
I
him Dave
knew-
all day, or
No, I knew his name.
He knew.
We struggled in the beginning to like, they say their names, and you're just like, it kind of goes in.
I'm
one ear
very
out the
bad
other.
at that. When I meet someone, it's just gone. And it's not disrespectful. It's just my brain.
And it took 1 or 2 holes to be like, it's Dan. Like we had to look on like the card, and you know what I mean? Like we just knew. We went into their cart and we were like, oh yeah, it's Dan. We knew it was Vinny because he's the guy that won the contest. He brought his buddy. You never know with stuff like this. This is the second year we've done this. Last year we had Tony Ballsack and his buddy Beef come out there, and they were fucking phenomenal, and they had the best time. We went to Borelli's, did the whole thing. So we said we run it back this year. And that was luckily for us. Like we have a bunch of people that buy the merchandise, and they all entered the contest. We said anyone that spent over $100 on Black Friday was in. So we had Pilar and Allison in the back end basically pull thousands of names and locations, and they're like, we're just gonna like put this into a randomized generator, and we're just gonna pop out a name, and out came like whatever Anthony Vincent or whatever his name is on Twitter, right? And so this guy Vinny, I'd message him, and I was like, hey, you won this contest. If you want to come out, like, would love to have you. And immediately he's like, yup. And then we start talking dates, and now we have it. He comes out with his buddy Dan.
Pittsburgh
you
guys.
You just never, the Pittsburgh guys, you just never know if you're going to get like a psychopath or a weirdo. And it's just like you're spending the whole day with them. We've been very lucky at this point. This was another great group of guys. These 2 guys were fucking funny and good golfers. They're like they were in the PGA programs in college, and they wanted to like become PGA pros. They were working at clubs. They kind of gave the game up a little bit. They like didn't play for a while. They had wrist injuries. One guy, and they were just great guys to like play a match against. We did the 6, 6, and 6 thing where you could like rotate partners, so we all played with each other. We went to Borelli's afterwards, and it was just a phenomenal day with just complete strangers that you now like can consider them like, friends, where you like can text them and share laughs with and stuff. So it was great. But I will say the whole day kind of went by, and it was kind of normal. Everything was just
very normal.
And then at dinner, things started to get just bizarre, I would say.
What do you mean?
Hey, like, I would say that things just got bizarre with our guy Dan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What's up with
but
Dan?
in a very funny way.
So Dan's a tattoo guy, and he's also an extremely successful businessman, like
He was
engineer.
So before the pandemic, his life was travel. Like he would travel 3 weeks out of the year. He'd be in Sweden. He was all over the place, traveling constantly. And then when the pandemic hit, he cut off all the travel. He loved spending time with his family, realized that was so important, but he doesn't travel nearly as much, but he still has he's a very successful guy.
He was like a nuclear engineering guy, and then now like works for a massive shipping company under the CEO of one of the biggest brands in the world. So like this guy's legit. And then he started to kind of peel back some fabric and showing us like what's on the skin. I don't know how the first conversation came up, but this guy has some of the more insane tattoos I think I've ever even witnessed in my entire life. Number one being he has a dick on his shin, and it's like this big. It looks like
the
a
size
mole.
of a gnat. Yeah, it's tiny.
And he just goes, we go, what is that? He goes, oh, it's addiction.
Addiction.
I get it.
You get it?
Play on
Now
words.
we're like-
yeah.
And now we're like, what do you mean? Like, we're looking at it. It's
Crazy
just like
answer.
it's just like a little coupling
All
of
day,
balls
I thought
and,
it was
and
a fly.
shaft.
I wanted to knock it off his shin. All
It's just
day.
a little bit of balls and shaft. You know what I mean? And you can just be like, oh, it's addiction. So then he starts going around, and Trent, what was the one? What was the you have them written down?
I do. I now that we're out of the moment, I understand them less. In the moment, I was laughing. I was laughing so fucking hard because apparently he's one of those tattoo guys who I was saying there's two types of tattoo people. There's the one side where it's like the people who care, like everything that I have on my body has meaning.
Yeah.
Everything has a story. Everything has to have a story. These mean a lot to me. And then there's the other camp where they're like, just put anything on me. I don't give a fuck.
It's a cheap joke. Yeah. I mean,
It doesn't.
put it on me.
Apparently, like his brother has a tattoo gun and they just tattoo each other. So he's one of those
Yeah.
guys. And
Because if he
one
has
of
a couple
them
glasses
was-
of whiskey, his brother brings out the tattoo gun and then he just does it. Like one of them was going to be, and I don't think he's done it, but one of them is just, or his brother has it. It just says the word below on his leg and it's below his knee and it's just baloney.
baloney.
Yeah, so this guy loves puns. He loves wordplay.
Yeah. And then the other one I
and
have
when someone's
written
telling
down,
you this, you're like, this is on your body forever. Like, he's just like, yeah, it's just baloney.
what was the one, like the varsity one on his arm?
Oh my God. It was who was that actress? It was like a horrific like rom-com from like the 1990s. There was like a movie. There's a movie where they say, do it varsity style. And what movie was that? Basically, he's saying that they watched this movie and they said they did it varsity style. And it clicked with him. And when you hear the name of the movie, you're like, there's no way you got a quote from this movie tattooed across your bicep. And he's like, yeah, I just kind of incepted this, like this saying, like, do it varsity style. And he just did.
All his buddy, on a buddies weekend, they were all saying it. Like, a bachelor party, I'll pick up like an inside joke that everybody has. And it
Like,
was
you just
do
let
it
it go.
varsity style.
Yeah.
And so we put varsity style. It's from some rom-com that nobody knows about. And I want to be clear, the whole day, Frankie and I are talking to Dan. He's a very successful guy. We're kind of in awe of this guy because he's talking about, he's just like, he's in this world and he's very successful. And then we get to dinner and he's like, I got all these tattoos. One of them is addiction. It's just a little dick on my shin. So it was unfucking
Did he realize the ridiculousness when he's saying this to you? Or
Yes.
like, is he sort of apologetic? Like, not apologetic, but being like, so like I got some, or does he think it's totally normal?
No, he was a little bit like, I'm a little coy with telling you guys these things. Like I'm a little bit like, I'm a little embarrassed by it, but not really. It's not that big of a deal. And it was just, and then
This guy sounds like a beauty. He sounds funny.
oh,
he sounds
these guys
entertaining.
were great.
Yeah.
And then he's got an Ariel tattoo from
Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. And we were like, why do you have that? Oh, we're like, why do you have that? And he's like, well, I'm a redhead and I think she's the most famous redhead in the world. So I got an Ariel tattoo. So then we got into a debate.
Naturally, why not? I mean,
Naturally, all makes sense. And then we got into a debate, and now I want to have that debate on the podcast with you, Dan. Is Ariel from The Little Mermaid the most famous redhead of all time?
no, I would say the first one that popped into my head was actually Carrot Top. And the second one that popped into my head is Prince Harry. So she would probably be like number 3.
Those
Yeah.
are better.
Dude,
So
we couldn't even think of real people.
the best one that
That
we
are-
came up with,
that
and
are
actually,
redheads.
and Vinny came up with it, was Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Ariel is not. No, I would
Are
say
you
Prince
sure,
Harry.
though?
I
think
think
about
Prince
how famous The Little Mermaid is.
I feel like Prince Harry. If you said like, who's the first redhead that comes to your mind, people would say Prince Harry. I think that would be the worldwide.
That's a really
answer.
good one.
That's
Yeah.
a really good one, dude.
Yeah,
We
that
have
never,
a
that
very
never
Top
came
for
up.
sure.
Yeah, that never came up.
No,
with,
this
Dan.
generation, I don't think knows who Carrot Top is.
Yeah, I mean,
Alex
Carrot
Busch,
Top
you know
was
who Carrot Top is?
yes. Alex Busch is way too online to not know who Carrot Top is.
I'm gonna be honest. No,
Okay.
Wow, that is really surprising. You
Am I
have
an
no
idiot?
idea who Carrot Top is.
He's
What
a
is
prop
Carrot Top?
Don't answer
comedian.
What is he? Yeah, is he like a kind of a in the Jackass universe sort of genre? Like what? Like what? What is he
I always
famous
knew
for?
him as just a prop comedian. That was it.
Yeah,
Like
Weird guy.
now does like Vegas shows, I feel like.
yeah. No, Prince Harry. You know who Prince Harry is, Bush?
yeah, of course.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I think it's Prince Harry. Final
I just
answer.
looked it up online, like the top redheads of all time, and Prince Harry is number one on every single list.
Whoa, we couldn't
Yeah.
think, we
Great
didn't
call,
even think of
dude.
that. We
No.
needed Danny Rapp at the
We
table.
said Annie.
Nah, it's Prince Harry.
We said
Ed Sheeran
Wendy
had
from
me going.
Wendy's.
I was almost about to place my bet on Ed Sheeran because he's famous.
Yeah, but I feel like Harry, just like you've been in the public eye since you were 5 years old, and you've always had just like a fiery ginger head.
That's the best argument against, like, that's the same argument for Ariel and the Little Mermaid, where it hits every single demographic and age. Like, you watch when you're a kid, but the parents are putting the movie on, so everybody sees
I just feel like her
everything.
not being a real person also kind of hurts her candidacy. You know what I mean? She's
All
a
right, but
cartoon.
Let's open that side of it.
Yeah, and now it's a real one. I don't even know if she's redheaded in the new one.
Are they making a live action of that as
They
well?
already
They
did.
I think it's out. I think it's out now. I think it
They're
just
just
came out.
addicted to doing the live action, like the Lion King
I
one
think it's
wasn't
kind
bad
of
enough.
flopping. I saw
Yeah, the
numbers.
Lion King
It's
one was
like-
horrific. It was
Yeah.
like these aren't cute at all. I don't want to watch this at all.
Yeah, the
The
Lion,
Lion
King
King one
did
was
that to him.
weird.
Yeah,
It was really weird.
I enjoyed it because it was still like a good production. It was like
Yeah, visually
I saw it
was
in the
cool.
I saw it in the movie theater, so I was like kind of swept up in like, oh shit, like these are just like. But when they were talking, it was fucking bizarre.
Yeah, like singing. It's like you're not cute. You're not
No.
cute.
No,
Like,
Even-
stop singing.
Chucky from Rugrats came up at the table for
or
redheads.
Chuck, or
You guys
just
were-
Chucky.
You guys were stuck in cartoon land.
Prince Harry is such a good one.
Yeah.
Prince Harry's incredible, but yeah, it was just very funny to see a guy kind of like peel back just these absurd, like the fact that he has Ariel on his body and we can't even like we're debating if she's the most famous redhead of all time. It's just an insane tattoo to get. But yeah, it was just one of those things where it's like, what are you talking about? Like had we known that going in that he had a diction tattoo and on like baloney and all these just ridiculous puns and
Can't do it.
I mean, that rom-com, I can't even think of the movie.
I
I
can't
tried to
either.
look up that line in the movie is so deep in the movie that like one person said it to another person and he just stuck to it and it's tattooed across his whole arm.
And then
Yeah,
he's
the
It was like
inside
10
of the
things I
bicep
hate
one
about
is-
you or so. It was like the worst. It
no,
was just like,
that movie's way too famous for this
true.
tattoo.
True.
And then he's got 3 elephants under the varsity style tattoo, and I was like, "Oh, what is this? Like, you watch a documentary on elephants?" He's like, "No, that's my wife and my son and me." And I was like, "All right."
We're
So
all
now there's a
elephants.
couple. There's a mix of
Yeah.
them where there's some nice ones and there's some outrageous.
So is he covered like neck down?
No, but it's all, I would say it's all kind of all over the place. but, like,
Sporadic.
it's sporadic.
definitely, it's not like a sleeve or anything, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, when he's wearing like a business attire, you can't see anything.
No, it's just very funny, and it's just like you don't know, like you really can't tell who a person is until you crack open that bottle of wine and you're sitting and eating a nice Italian meal. I will say Borelli's was a 100 out of 10. I've been eating at Borelli's for 29 years.
Yeah.
It's been around for 68 of them, and I don't know that I've had that good of a meal there ever. Everything was just firing on all cylinders.
Is Borelli's open tonight?
Closed on
No.
Mondays.
Closed on Mondays, holiday. Borelli's in Long
Damn.
Beach is open.
Emma and I were
Borelli's
looking. Emma and I were staying in town, and we were looking we wanted to make a special dinner reservation for tonight, and Borelli's
Oh.
would have been perfect.
That would have been perfect, but it is
Yeah.
closed. The OG Borelli's is closed. I think the one in Long Beach will be open for sure. Borelli's in Long Beach. If you're out in Long Beach, Long Island, the place is fucking bumping now. We're officially open. We did like a soft opening where it's just like if you knew we were open, you'd come in. We're trying to like work on all the kinks out and all like, you know, get the staffing done and the pizza's oven just got put in. But now, dude, like Memorial Day weekend came and it came fast. And boy, dude, like my dad sent me a video last night because I couldn't make it. Place had a fucking line out the door. People are loving it in Long Beach. It's like that new style of like modern Italian food, but also like the 68-year-old recipes of like my dad making sure that everything's OG Borelli's, like the way it should taste, the way it should look. Everyone's has to have like that family atmosphere inside. My dad's walking around giving out desserts to people, and like then we take all the tables away and it's a party at night. We had live music. It's just like it's everything I
It's
envisioned.
got to feel so good. That's got to be an
'Cause that-
unbelievable feeling.
Because like I'm invested in this, and like this is like this is me and my cousin's thing where it's like, hey, like let's help bring this
Grow
new
this.
generation
Yeah,
of Borelli.
yeah.
So it's kind of like, all right, Dad, thanks for everything that you've done. Obviously, he's working his fucking ass off over there, but it's like we're gonna help you keep this thing going in like another way, a new modern version of it. And I think we're nailing it. Like it was everything that it had to be. It's pizza and food in the morning, and then it's fun at night, and you can watch an Islander game there. It's cool. So go stop by. And say hi to my dad. He'll be covered in like flour and he'll look like he hasn't slept in like 9 days. I mean, he looked horrible the other night because
Yeah, he
he's
showed
just
up
so
to the
fucking
dinner
tired.
with Dan and Vinny, and he was covered in flour, and he had just gotten back from the Long Beach location. We're like, sit down, have a couple beers with us, and just
Yeah.
relax for like 5 minutes. He's like,
Dan went to the bar without me knowing, and he bought a bottle of wine, and he came back and he put it in front of my dad, and he's like, sit down, have a glass. And it was just like that. That's how you know that Dan and Vin were good guys, because they just like genuinely cared about like having a conversation and learning more about my dad in the restaurant. So we had a great time. We do have another person that we're bringing out because I did two separate winners for this Black Friday, and Zach Bariner is going to be coming sometime around September or late August. So that'll be fun. We have another crack at this thing to make sure that we get two normal, regular dudes. So Zach and his buddy are coming out here late August, and we'll do it all again. So
Statistically, at some point, we're going to get a serious.
You're going to get murdered. This is not going to end well
statistically,
for
we're
you
due
guys.
for a fucking axe
The
murder.
guys have
for
been
sure.
great. Like Frankie's saying, we're 4 for 4. So hopefully that can continue because it's fun.
Keep it rolling.
Yep. Father's Day is quickly approaching, and you have to check out Golf Galaxy to find everything that you need for your golf game and your dad's. Golf Galaxy is a dream come true for golfers. We witnessed this in Myrtle Beach with our fathers, where we can get fittings, grips, shafts, lessons, everything you can want. Plus, they have this amazing technology with the TrackMan and Biomech for getting your game dialed in. Our dads got dialed in. They got brand new shafts. They got brand new grips. Your dad got his putter re-gripped. He had the nice thick putter cover.
He does the jumbo putter grip.
The jumbo one, which was incredible. He likes to get his Iowan meaty hands on that thing. And he just felt like he was $1 million walking out of that place because they dialed him in better than he's ever been dialed in before. Golf Galaxy offers a best price guarantee. So if you find a lower price somewhere else, they will match it. If you're running late for your tee time, you need some help getting balls or maybe some tees, Golf Galaxy's free curbside pickup gets you your gear in 1 hour or less and out on the course even faster, which is a great little thing to do because, man, I hate showing up to a place without golf balls or tees. It's the worst feeling of all time. You're like, I got 2 balls today, fellas. I can't lose these. And then after the first tee, you're just like, I'm out. Anyone got any balls? So make sure you're stocked up and you go to Golf Galaxy. Give your dad the one gift that always fits, and that's a Golf Galaxy gift card if you don't know what else to get them. You can even buy them online. So head over to your closest Golf Galaxy or go online and shop for the best clubs, hats, shirts, and shoes from all of golf's top brands, including Barstool Golf, which you should be able to find in some locations of Golf Galaxy, which our dads did. They walked out with just the most Barstool Golf stuff of all time.
They really did. If you've been to Dick's Sporting Goods, picture that, but all golf, and that's what a Golf Galaxy is. They've got everything. Those places are incredible.
And you can also rent the simulator for working on your swing or just play some of the top golf courses on the tour in their simulators with the TrackMan and Biomech technology. Again, head over to Golf Galaxy or shop online on golfgalaxy.com. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I hope that all your kids get you something nice at Golf Galaxy this year, or maybe you get yourself something nice.
Yeah, we got to normalize giving yourself gifts. You deserve
For
it.
sure. Because when you get something from someone else, sometimes it's not like the best thing. And you're just like, I can just get myself something better.
Totally.
Golf Galaxy is the place. Did we have to do these?
So we do it
these
from the gallery.
galleries,
Yeah, I feel like
or-
it's like when the substitute teacher leaves you a worksheet and she's like, "Oh, you guys should do this," and then go to recess after, and it's like, I don't know.
The thing with from the gallery is we always say we're going to get to it, and we just never do. It's kind of like how Jimmy Kimmel says that he has Matt Damon on the show, and he just never does.
Should we do one?
Well, I'm looking at him. I'm kind of skimming through them, and this one will be fast because it's for me. Colin asked, when is Trent going to hang the pictures behind him? And I kind of like that thing on the ground now. I'm just going to leave that on the ground. So I'm not going to hang that up, I don't think.
So the
You
answer's
like
never.
it aesthetically, or do you like the fact that you don't have to hang it?
Both.
Okay.
I do like it aesthetically. I don't mind just pictures sitting on the ground like that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to keep it on the ground for Colin asking.
I love it.
You know, there's some other ones on here that we can do.
No, I think you just leave it for the next show, you know?
Yeah, I think we'll get to it next week for sure.
I think we'll get to
So,
it next week.
We got a good guest coming up this week. I'm
I'm
excited.
way behind on Succession, so I don't want.
Fuck off.
So I don't want to talk fully through it, but like overall, do you guys think it landed or didn't land?
I think it landed. I think it was very in line with the overall vibe of the show. It's kind of how you. I mean, Emma. Shout out to Emma. Second shout out on this. She predicted it basically perfectly what was going to happen. So it's in my opinion, it's not like anything. There's no fireworks necessarily, but it feels like the right way for it to go out.
Yeah, it was an acting masterclass, I woid say.
Yeah.
I think it really was. It was, I mean, from top to bottom, every single person involved, specifically 2 people, or the three people that really just fucking brought it for the finale. It was like 4 years of an amazing story where every single episode for 4 straight seasons was just really interesting, funny, well written, incredibly shot. The music, the everything about Succession. Some people are saying it's not an all-time show. For me, everything I just listed makes it an all-time show for me. Is it The Sopranos? Does it have the prestige of all these iconic shows? Maybe it won't hold that type of water after years and years and years of going on. But for right now, recency bias, top show of all time for me. I mean, they nailed it, I thought. Oh yeah.
They showed a lot of restraint. They did what Michael Block couldn't do. They went out,
which is
in
what
a
the
good
great shows
moment.
do. Seinfeld did it, and I mean, The Office didn't do it. The Office has some great seasons after Michael Scott, but it just wasn't The Office.
Like Game of Thrones, same thing, terrible
Game
ending.
of Thrones couldn't figure it out, but Succession just if they did one more season of Succession, they would have ruined it because without giving any spoilers, like if you do a whole nother season of that, it's over. Like you can't. I'm not watching that for another 10 episodes. I can't.
The hardest thing to do in entertainment is stop when you're hot. Like they're
the
hot.
way they did
They
their
can
big
easily
moments,
keep going.
Oh, they did them earlier in the season so that they knew. It's just like if they would have ended it another way, it would have sucked. The way they did it was perfect. I mean, I watched like that post episode recap where he was like the show
Armstrong.
creator. Yeah, and they were just like, we had to figure out a perfect way to do this, and like this was the only way. Like at one point, he's like, it almost feels foolish for us to stop because it's such a good show. He said that. He's like, it feels insane that we're not filming another season, but it's just right. And
that
like,
is the right time to stop. Unfortunately,
he's like, I don't want to stop. Like, I love this cast. I love writing this show. I think that these characters have more to say, but it has to end. Unfortunately, that's just the way the world works. This show, and in 100 years, when you look back, had to end right now. So, yeah. I mean, if you haven't watched it, you have to go watch it, catch up, make sure that you watch it because it's just the acting, the highs and the lows within 2 minutes of each other are incredible. Snot coming out of noses and shit. That's how you know when someone's acting good is when snot starts coming out of their nose. That's not acting.
Spit all over his face.
Riggs and I have had this conversation before. I don't know what bad acting is because I don't see it. Because I see all the stuff that I watch, all the stuff that we watch is top tier. So I don't have a gauge. Like when I'm watching great acting, I don't know it. I think I would probably know if I was watching bad acting, but I never watch anything that has bad acting because I'm watching premiere television.
Go watch like the Hallmark Channel.
That's what I
around
should
the
do.
holidays.
It's
And
horrible.
you're just like, I mean, bad acting is the first 10 minutes of any video that you've watched exclusively online. You know, when you just don't really believe it.
But
that's
different because that's like not the point. But
that's bad acting. That is.
There's also
bad
a difference
acting.
between just like regular good acting and then like the next tier. Like if you just watch and like, I don't know, you watch Transformers or like a movie like that, and everyone in there is just like they're doing the job. It's like fine acting. It's like some of it's really corny, and like the way that they're reacting to certain situations is just like you're almost laughing at. Same with like Fast and the Furious, and I don't want John Favreau to come after me because some of that's really good acting. But
see, that's what I don't know. Like you could sit me down.
Like
and
it's
be
it's just normal. It's like it's more story. It's more like I don't know. When it's just a camera on a person in an office and like they're fucking showing all this emotion and you really start to feel like the hair on the back of your fucking neck kind of stand up and they're making you feel or cry or laugh and like feel that's different than just the regular scenes of like regular dialogue where it's just a passing scene. Like you could just tell when there's good acting. It just hits you. You feel it. Like it's not to say that it happens 99 times out of 100 of a whole episode. It's like that one moment where you're like, that just won that person an Emmy. Like, you know it. You could feel it. Like in Air, there's a speech by Matt Damon. You're like, that could win him an Oscar. That's the one right there. You see it. You saw it in his eyes where he, like after they hit record, they hit stop. They probably were like, oh shit. That was a moment.
Crushed it.
Is there any
different
part
than
of you
everything else.
that they might trick you into that with the music and the way that it's
Definitely
shot?
presentation, I think, helps for sure. Yeah, there's definitely build up and cinematography and stuff. But at the end
like
of the day,
a good example too is like you watch fucking Breaking Bad and Aaron Paul when Aaron Paul was like locked up in that fucking Nazi's basement like cellar thing. That was good acting of like him fucking like he's in there, man, like crying, like puking on himself, snotting, like. Yeah, they could probably fix that up with like makeup and shit, but you could tell that guy has been locked up. Like you really felt it.
I guess it's a testament to all the shows that I watch that I don't know what bad acting is. I watch it and I'm like, that was pretty fucking good. Like I never watch
cable and just watch like a random channel and just be like, yeah, it sucks.
That's what because I feel that because I actually think I do. Like I'll just watch bad comedies, like stand-up comedy. Like I have a barometer for what it looks like. Bad acting, I legit watch the best shows in the world all the time.
I'll probably get hate for this, but like I think shows, and I like these shows, but I think the shows like One Tree Hill and like all those like CW
like the OC.
shows, The OC, like I would consider that not as good acting as like a nice like a HBO drama. Like when you watch it, it's kind of like cringy and like they're so fucking over the top.
Yeah.
Like come to the beach with me, and it's just like, and you're like you watch it because it's a good show because like the storyline's good and it's just easy to watch and you can watch all the episodes and they're playing basketball in the gym and they're like, come on, and
Well, that's
like,
the one thing that I
nice
can't
shot.
tell. Like a sports movie that doesn't
Yeah.
that is made by people who never played those sports. Like there's a football scene of a guy throwing a football. I forget, it was from a show years ago. The guy just
bad
it's
acting.
horrible. But that I know because I'm like I know what the sport actually looks like.
It's like that was like from like the OC, like that.
Right.
That's what I mean. Like you watch High School Musical. I fucking love High School Musical. I sing it at every karaoke. I love it. But you watch him play basketball and like after he's like in the locker. And they're like, come on. Like the way that they're like hitting a fucking layup and they're going crazy in the crowd. That's not as good as like Jeremy Strong, like going through it. You know what I mean? It's just different.
I believe that great acting exists. I just don't know that I can tell.
I think if you use the kind of things I just said and you now look for it.
Okay.
Just look for it.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's the show.
I think that is the show. I got nothing else.
That's it for me. We got a good guest, I think, coming on Thursday, so everyone should be excited for that.
Shit, that's right. That'll be on
Yeah.
Thursday's show.
Yeah. I'll be good.
All
I
right.
might miss
So we'll
that
leave it
interview.
at that.
Actually, we've got a bunch of stuff. We got this Barstool Golf series up and running now, so that's gonna be coming soon. But we got Hank coming out to play, which will be great tomorrow morning.
What
So I
time?
might actually miss that fucking interview, but that's gonna be a great one.
We're doing 8:30 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah. Wow, that's an early one for sure. But I think I'll be on the second hole by then. I think Hank's sleeping at my house tonight.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We have such an early tee time. He has to try and get it in before, and he's like in Chicago now, and like he's just like it'd be way easier if I could sleep out here after I do PMT to make that tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's happening tonight.
Cool.
Got a
That'll
guest
be fun.
bedroom for him? A
Yeah.
little bed situation?
I stayed
Yeah,
there
You stayed there, yep.
before I
put
moved
some-
out to Long Island.
Yep, that's right. I'll put some nice little trinkets in there.
You made bacon the next morning. I don't want to set the bar too high, but
Oh shit, I did make bacon. I don't know that I've made bacon for really anyone else that's ever slept here.
what an honor.
Yeah, I forgot. That was a great move. It was just crackling, nice smelling
I
bacon.
woke
when you
up to
came
the
down.
smell of bacon,
Yeah.
which is what you want when you wake up.
That's about as good as it gets.
All right.
All right, fellas.
We'll
that's
see you
about it.
Thursday. Look forward to that interview. Hit it hard.
Get hard.
Hit hard.